So I think probably a good time to look at, or a good data point to look at, will be in 2002, where the SARS outbreak happened, and just after the 9/11 attack. So during this period, you can see that actually the property prices didn't really fluctuate that much. That's probably because everyone is still recovering from this crisis. However, these two green lines actually show that the new highs are actually higher than the old highs, and the new lows are actually still higher than the new lows. What does this tell us? It's actually that the real estate market is actually a very strong hedge against any economic crisis. It's actually a good appreciating asset over the years, especially when the market is doing well. So over the years, we are actually doing a 4.66% compounded growth rate. So this is how strong our market is. And not only that, we can only see probably into the next couple of years, 2021, there's as much as a 47% drop in land supply. So everybody knows when there's a drop in land supply, what does this do to the real estate market? It can only mean that the prices cannot go any lower than it already is. Coupled with the COVID-19 situation, developers are also going to suffer development costs thanks to higher hiring rates, rental rates for their staff in dormitories, etc. So this is going to be the market for the near future, I believe. So with that said, let me formally introduce you to the best-selling project in 2019. So of course, the one that I'm talking about is Treasure. We sold 874 units in just 9 months alone. That's around 80 units a month for the first 9 months. Subsequently, in 2020, we actually sold 319. We crossed the halfway mark just under 1 year of sales. And every month we are hitting double-digit sales, including the circuit breaker period. So this is actually a very strong testament as to Treasure being a very valued and very good proposition for purchase. So either for your own stay, for investments as well. So as you can see, I'm only left with 33 of my 2-bedroom units, and all my smaller 1-bedroom units are all fully sold out. So why so good? A lot of people ask why Treasure is doing so well. Why is this so good? First and foremost, I think number one is location. Location, location, location. That's the first thing we should always look at when we are talking about property. So Tampines is an award-winning town. It's actually a World Award-winning town, a World Habitat Award-winning town for the most well-planned town in the world. Being an Eastern Regional Center, it's planned to serve 800,000 residences, and it has full shopping amenities and commercial services. Not only that, it is actually surrounded by a lot of clean industries as well as business parks. So these are actually tenant catchment areas where this property, this area itself can actually be self-sufficient. We do not need to depend on CBD overflow of probably tenants to come over. Tampines itself can actually self-suffice. So this is actually the area of Treasures at Tampines. So I'll just highlight Treasure for you. Treasure is actually located along Tampines Street 11. We are actually beside another award-winning facility, which is the Tampines Round Market. So Tampines Round Market has all sorts of amenities, doctors, it has a 24-hour NTUC. So you will never find yourself hungry. You will always have groceries. It is actually super convenient. You don't need to drive to go and buy things. It's actually right at your doorstep. Not only that, it's actually a direct access down PIE to Changi Airport and also to the PIE city. So this actually creates a very convenient ingress and egress. You do not have problems like other towns, probably other mature towns where, you know, peak hours, you're always struggling to get back home or get out to work. So Treasures and Tampines is actually very strategically located right at these exit points. And for those who don't drive, Treasures is actually just a short 7-minute walk, fully sheltered to Simei MRT, which is over here. So, and not just fully sheltered, it's actually no steps. So actually it's all ramped all the way to Simei. You can actually ride your bicycle, or okay, it used to be PMD, but probably ride a bicycle all the way to Simei MRT. And of course, we also have a free shuttle service for the first year to Jewel at Changi and also Tampines Central itself. So talk about convenience. I think Treasures is the #1 convenient condo in Tampines itself already. Being in the town center is also, I would say, a benefit to being in the town center is that it's actually fully serviced by multiple transport hubs. You have multiple MRT lines. You have the downtown line, you have the green line, and soon you're going to have a cross island line, which I'm going to talk about later. It is also fully serviced by government services like CPF, HDB, banking systems. Not only that, the Tampines shopping belt houses many popular conveniences like Hai Di Lao, like Golden Village. Anything you can think of, you don't need to leave Tampines town itself. You can actually come to the central. Also, you do have the My Tampines Hub, which is where all our sports activities can be done. And not only that, not forgetting, remember we have Giant and IKEA as well. So Tampines is actually a all-rounded regional center of the East that actually, I would say, trumps many other regional centers as well. This is just an overview of the master plan for Tampines. So just let me highlight to you where Treasures is once again. Treasures is actually located in the bottom center of the map. Right now, as you can see, all the orange areas, the residential areas, are all actually occupied by residences already. What does this mean for owners of Treasure? It means that towards the town center itself, there will be no longer any more new condos. They are actually more convenient. The rest of the units or the rest of the real estate in the middle are all actually HDB owned. So you do not have any privately owned land. Only towards the north side, which is over here towards the left, you will have a little bit of land for private, but those areas are not serviced by any markets. They do not have any, I would say, amenities nearby. So they do have to travel by car sometimes, even to the town center itself. So Treasure is a unique product on its own at Tampines. Furthermore, it's the next slide. Hang on, I'll let it load. Okay, so furthermore, Tampines is, like I mentioned, is serviced by business and industrial parks. So we have Business Park 2. We have Business Park 2 surrounding this area. We have the Logistics Park. We also have Business Park itself. So basically, Treasures is actually a commercial center, like a second CBD. Changi itself actually houses a lot of back-end IT staff from the banks itself. So this is where you can have a lot of very good profile tenants who are always looking to rent in the Tampines area. Furthermore, towards the north area, you do have clean industrial areas where a lot of manufacturing is done and a lot of clean industries, engineers. So this is another catchment area towards the north that we can be expecting. Of course, not forgetting, we do have Changi Airport, which is actually just to our east. So Changi Airport, like I mentioned just now, is actually a very strong aviation hub. Of course, right now we are being hit by this COVID-19 situation. However, when we go back on track, when all this thing dies down, when there's a vaccine produced, we can actually expect the redevelopment or the development of Changi Terminal 5, Changi Airport Terminal 5. Just to give you a gauge, when Jewel was launched sometime last year, it created 4,000 over jobs. That was just in the retail business itself. So when Terminal 5 opens, and I hope the aviation and travel and tourism industry goes back to the heydays, it can create another 4,000 jobs. That's the expectation that our government will have. So last but not least, the reason why Tampines is a fantastic location is the transportation hub. So as you can see, we are serviced by the Old Green Line. We have the Cross Island Line, as well as the Downtown Line. So all these actually created a lot of accessibility to the rest of Singapore. What does Cross Island Line do? For in the past, people who stay in the north, if they want to get to Tampines, they got to drive all the way down to the center and then cross either PIE or AYE and ECP to Tampines itself. That takes probably a 45-minute drive to an hour drive. However, with this new line, the new possibility, the travel has shortened down to less than 45 minutes of MRT ride. So this actually opens up a possibility for children who wants to buy a condo near the parents when the parents can actually help to take care of the kids, but they don't have a car. So we actually create this new possibility for Tampines to reach Ang Mo Kio, and in the future, all the way to Tuas. Not only that, it also creates a possibility for tenants to come from the central itself, because we do have a very strong industrial presence in the Ang Mo Kio, Yio Chu Kang area. So this is the benefit of having a cross-island line. So that's for the location itself. The second, and I would say the most important thing, is the project itself has a great layout, has fantastic space, and has comprehensive facilities. So Treasures, just to give you a project overview, Treasure is actually a mega project that was launched in March of 2019. So we are just over a year into sales. Of course, we must factor in 2 months of closure of the show flat. It has 2,203 units, and our expected TOP will be in December of 2024. Treasure sits on a land area that's 60,000 square meters, or approximately 11 football fields. However, of the 11 football fields, only 4 football fields have buildings, which means actually you have almost 7 football fields worth of open space, landscaping, swimming pool, as well as facilities. So this is actually a great piece of land, a whole enclosure on its own, where you can actually enjoy your facilities. It has 29 blocks of 12 stories, so the highest level is 12 story. And we have a huge clubhouse of almost 20,000 square feet. So this clubhouse is almost the size of a class bungalow, where you can have a 24-hour gym and other facilities. Due to not being close to the MRT, due to being close to MRT, we actually have 1,754 basement parking lots. So we do expect many tenants and residences that we don't need to have a car. You can actually just take a public transport to work. So this is my unit breakdown of Treasures itself. On the right, you can see the layout of the project itself. So to the middle, you do have a stretch of units that are my premium units, or my 4 and 5 bedroom units. So as you can see, my 1 bedroom units are already fully sold, and I'm only left with a little bit of 2 bedrooms only. However, one major thing I think which attracted a lot of own stay buyers, especially investors, is that the maintenance fee is really, really, really low. The maintenance fee that I highlighted over here is, I would say, incredulously low. A lot of my buyers couldn't believe this amount. Not only that, you must remember, you're looking at this amount, what does this give you? It gives you 10 swimming pools. It gives you all the facilities inside. It has security, and parking is included. So all this for only $200, $200+ a month is really, really value for money. It's fantastic for own stay. Not only that, we do have a smart home concept that's built around this condo itself. So everything could be and will be controlled by your smart home app. You can actually allow access to your unit for visitors through your app. You can actually send a QR code. You can turn on your aircon. You can actually book facilities. And you can also, of course, access the concierge service, which I will talk about a little bit later. Not only that, we have a 24-hour gym. And remember, the gym is actually housed in a bungalow type building. It has 2,000 over square feet of space, which actually is equivalent to any outside gym right now, any commercial gym. Which means that if you have a current gym membership or your children needs to use the gym. You do not need to buy any gym membership anymore. It's actually more than sufficient, actually as good as a commercial gym. Of course, you also have this free shuttle service. And last but not least, you have a concierge service. My artist impressions are not out yet, but I actually can show you a little bit of the co-working space that will be housed inside this clubhouse. So a co-working space is fully Wi-Fi and fully furniture to allow you to work here. I think just now, as I mentioned, everything is going digital, everything is going and going virtual. So having a good workspace that is actually near your house, you actually can save on office, hiring an office. You can actually work from home without the distractions of home itself. You can actually be in the clubhouse and do your work. So this is an image of my clubhouse. There will be more images that are to come. So I will let your agents actually send them to you. So don't worry about it. So moving on, these are just some of the floor plans and layouts for the Best Buy units that I have. So on the left is my 2+ study, which is actually my best seller right now. It's actually selling very well. We are selling almost a unit every other day. So this is one of the best layouts that I have. Why is it so special? Because over here for a 2-bedroom, it is very rare to find a 2-bedroom with an enclosed or a partially enclosed kitchen. So for own stay or even for tenants, if you rent to them, you don't have to worry about oil and smoke, going into the living room or bedrooms when you cook. Secondly, if I'm talking about a 3-bedroom premium unit, this is my bestseller. We have actually something that a lot of previous condos miss, which is actually a yard and a utility. So Sim Lim, being the strong and experienced developer they understand that no matter what, for your own stay, you do need a yard area for your clothes and washing and drying. So without further ado, let me truncate into the virtual tour so that you can actually have a feel of the finishing and quality. So this is my 2-bedroom plus study virtual tour. Don't worry if I'm moving a little bit too fast. Your agents will be able to show you this virtual tour as well. So looking at this virtual tour, we are standing right at the entrance, which is over here. As I mentioned just now, you do have this very unique and rare facility in the house, which is actually the enclosed kitchen. Right now it's partially enclosed, but actually when you collect your key, you can actually install probably a glass panel where you can contain the smoke or when it's cooking. Looking into the house, we do have a good sized balcony, and as you can see, it actually lets a lot of light into the house, but it's actually making it very bright and comfortable. Not only that, I must share with you that Treasure has only 2 stacks, which is east and west facing. The rest of the units are either north or south facing. So that ensures that we don't have any west sun or even morning sun to have any discomfort. So we do have very bright and very good ventilation for the house itself. It is a very good and wide frontage and a very long frontage. So just let me probably bring you into the kitchen for a good view. So this is the kitchen in itself. As you can see, we do have a very quality and good finishing. All these are actually provided by the developer already. We will provide Electrolux branded equipment. So we do have a washer dryer provided. Of course, all these things, kitchen hood and hob. One highlight that I must mention is that my 2-bedroom units will come with an induction hob instead of a gas hob. And the only thing that we do not provide right now will be the fridge, because generally fridge is very subjective. Some people want a bigger fridge, some people prefer a smaller fridge. So this is the only thing that we do not provide. However, the rest of the items is as you can see. So it is actually very well thought out. The walls are actually glass walls so that it's easy for cleaning. When you do any heavy cooking or maybe just even frying an egg, there will be oil spills. So now moving on, I'm actually inside the living room itself. So looking back, I actually do have a lot of open space over at this spot where I can actually put do storage. I can actually do up some storage. I can actually keep probably even put a dining table in here if you prefer indoor dining. However, for my 2+ study, it's actually designed for outdoor alfresco dining. So we do keep our dining area outdoors. You can actually have a nice breakfast over here. If you're buying a pool facing unit, you can actually sit out here and enjoy water sound and greenery as well, because we are actually there's a lot of greenery and landscaping to augment the beauty of Treasures. So this is my 2+ study living room. So I will just pan it a little bit for you all to take a look. All right. And now moving on, I will head into the master bedroom. I'll work my way out. So this is the master bedroom itself. The unique thing about the master bedroom is actually I can reorientate my wardrobe. Right now the wardrobe is actually facing the door, but I can actually reorientate my wardrobe to be facing the bed itself. So that frees up a little bit more space over here. However, even without any customization, the space is actually big enough for a queen size bed. Also paired with this wall to wall window, it actually lets light and air to come in. So it's actually a very comfortable place to be in the day. You will never feel that it's very dark and dingy. And of course, it does come attached with its bathroom. Over here, as you can see, behind the mirrors are actually storage space, and it's very deep and ample storage space. So you can keep a lot of your cleaning items, even your lotions can be kept in there. And we do have storage space below the sinks as well. So this is actually a very nicely colored, the theme is very comfortable and warm colored theme for staying. All right, moving on, I will head out to the common bedroom. The common bedroom itself will fit a double bed very comfortably. It does also come with a 2-door sliding door wardrobe space. So this room can be used as an office space. For example, a young couple stay, they can actually convert this to a walk-in wardrobe as well. So this is actually a very comfortable space for a young adult, maybe a kid to stay, or even an office space. And last but not least, this is actually the bathroom, the common bathroom, where you can use for storage. Look at the amount of storage space that you have behind the mirrors, as well as under the sink. So all in all, it is actually a very well designed layout. There's a lot of space, and most importantly, there's no wasted space. Every inch of this property you can use for your comfort. Moving on, I will show you all the 3-bedroom premium unit. So let me start from the entrance. It's very similar to my 2-bedroom study that I showed you just now. It has a very long and wide frontage, but because it's actually a very well-lit environment and facing, it actually helps that the whole house feels very bright, but it's not jarringly bright. One unique thing, or one very special thing I mentioned just now, is it comes with its enclosed kitchen as well as its yard area. So as you can see, the kitchen is actually well sized. And like I mentioned just now, the bigger units for the the bigger units for Treasure all comes with this gas cooker hob instead of induction. So for traditionalists like myself, I love to cook with gas. This is my favorite. I like to use gas to cook. Other than that, it's actually similar in terms of its finishing. It does have very well finished and well thought out color scheme. So, and also this kitchen actually comes with a glass panel itself. So after you cook, you do not need to walk all the way out. You can actually leave it on this counter, and your children or your husband or your wife could help serve the food to the dining area. Unfortunately, I can't bring you out to the yard area, but as you can see over here, it actually have a very longish frontage that you can actually install a clothes hanger, clothes rack inside the yard itself. So a lot of my previous clients, actually, they miss having a yard in the property because Singapore is just unpredictable in terms of the weather. But as long as you can hang indoors, it will definitely be an advantage rather than putting it in the balcony. Then sometimes the weather is not too good and probably there's a lot of dust as well. So this this yard area is really a very good place for a lot of storage as well as your cleaning and laundry. At the back, I'm not sure if you can see clearly, we have a WC, a small WC, and behind this wall is actually our utility room. So the utility room, unfortunately, I can't show you. I'll try to give you this floor plan through your agents. But you can actually see that there's a very good space either for your helper to stay or for storage. So this is actually one of the best layouts and the best selling stacks that we have right now. So moving on to the dining area. The dining area is actually very generous. We can actually put a 6-seater in here. I would say even a 4-seater, a round table will be comfortable in this dining area. Looking forward, you can actually see the living area being a very generously wide frontage. So just to give you a rough gauge, from wall to wall, it's about 3.4 meters. What that means is actually if you sit in the living room and you sit on your sofa, you can actually comfortably install a 65-inch TV without feeling claustrophobic. So right now, I think the most popular sizes for TVs are all at least 55, 60, 65. So definitely the wall-to-wall distance is actually comfortable for up to even a 65-inch TV. All my units in Treasure actually will be augmented by this balcony space. So we can actually overlook either the pool or depending on your facing, you can actually overlook the units in front. So it is actually a very wide frontage space where you can actually do alfresco dining, you can actually do some storage as well. Not only that, we do have approved window grills that you can cover up this whole balcony space so that it can become a partial indoor space where you can enjoy, or maybe if you feel that it's a bit bright, you can actually close up the window grill. Moving on to my bedroom, the first common bedroom. So the common bedrooms are similarly fitted as to my 2+ study. However, this room is just slightly bigger. It will fit a queen size bed very comfortably. And it does have extra space for a side table. And it already comes fitted with a very nice color theme of a 2-door wardrobe. Just opposite this this bedroom 2 is my bedroom 3. So the bedroom 3, as you can see, is slightly smaller than a bedroom 2. It is very well poised to either be converted to a walk-in wardrobe. It can be an office space or probably for a young kid, and it will still have enough space. And it does come with its own wardrobe as well. But I think the highlight for all my units, even my bigger units in Treasure, is that it comes with a very, very generous master bedroom. So right now, this is the master bedroom of the 3-bedroom unit type, the 3 Premium. As you can see, the place where the camera is standing at, it actually has a lot of extra space where it can fit comfortably a massage chair. Also where the bed is, it's actually big enough to fit a king-size bed with 2 side tables or maybe even a small mattress for your kid. So, and wall to wall, there's still enough space for a small TV console and a mounting of the TV. So for us, I would say Treasure is really one of the best place for young couples, maybe even families, to enjoy their living room and their bedrooms when they're very tired after work. So just to showcase the bathroom, the attached bathroom, once again, there's a very, very ample space and very well carpentry kind of fitting for our toilets. All right, so I'll just pan it a little bit. I missed out one portion, which is actually the common toilet. So as you can see, the common toilet itself is also very, very well fitted. Every cabinet behind the mirror has storage space, and even under the basin itself. So it does have, it is actually very, very spacious to be inside my 3 Premium unit. Okay. So, okay, due to shortage of time, I will not be able to go through all the show flats, but if you need to see any other show flats, feel free to let our Orange Tea agents know, and we'll definitely be able to share a little bit more for the virtual tour. So with that, I will head back to my presentation. And this is just to showcase, so hang on. Okay, this is just to showcase some of the layouts for my 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom. So the 4 bedrooms start from 1.5 million, and its square feet is starting from 1,238, whereas our 4 Premium actually is 1,819 square feet. Also, for my 5-bedroom is 1,722 square feet. It comes with all very good sized bedrooms. So each individual bedroom is at least 10 square meters. That's almost equivalent to a master bedroom size for other condos. These are some of the virtual tours. As I mentioned, don't worry, my agents will be able to showcase to you on a one-to-one basis later. So last but not least, the most important thing as to why Treasure has been doing so well for the past 1 year, it is that this condo is actually a condominium at an executive condominium price. The PSF starts from 1092 PSF, and our 3-bedroom is only starting from 1,124. And the cheapest 2-bedroom right now is 852. However, the 852,000 unit, I don't think will be there much longer because we are selling 2 bedrooms like hotcakes. They are really flying off the shelf. Later, I will share with you the prices for the EC launch that's going to be nearby. I think that is actually a good indicator as to where Treasure is positioned for the near future. So this is just some of the collaterals as to why some of my buyers are purchasing this place. This is probably more pertaining to upgraders who are looking at Treasure. Why Treasure is the property to choose? I think most of us are aware that Singapore property, there's a certain hierarchy. No right, no wrong. The lowest hierarchy will probably be the HDB. Firstly, the pricing is the cheapest in Singapore in terms of real estate hierarchy. Secondly, it is actually subsidized, so and it's controlled by the government. The second hierarchy is actually the ECs, which once again is supposed to be subsidized and is controlled. Followed by the condominiums. So condominiums are actually privately owned, free market, supposed to be, I would say, less regulated. And last but not least, of course, is the landed property. However, as you can see, the line between an EC and the condo has been blurred recently. So a lot of new launches like Canberra, like Ola, their starting prices are around 1080 PSF. It's already crossing into the condo boundary. Just to give you a gauge, just 10 years ago at Holland Road, a condo in Holland Road only costs about 700 to 800 PSF, maybe 900 PSF for the newer ones. So just 10 years, looking at that 10 years later, EC at Tampines, at Sembawang, at Punggol is actually costing more than a condo in Bukit Timah. So this is how much the EC has already evolved. It's no longer the EC of old. But with that, like I mentioned, since there is no MSR, there's no salary cap, actually it's actually easier to buy Treasure. With a $6,000 combined income, you can actually own a condo in Treasure already. So of course, we're talking about a 2-bedroom unit. So just to give you a comparison to, a comparison to Treasures versus the EC. So like I mentioned, the new EC will be launching supposedly this year. at Tampines Avenue 10, which is where I highlighted over there. Basically, it is a similar distance from the Central to Treasures. However, it has less amenities. It does not have a market beside it, and it does not have an MRT station beside it as well. So with that, the land price is only less than $100 cheaper than Treasures. So Treasure is actually a very, very value buy land in itself. And we're selling really, really cheap, almost the same price. So that's how I would say that the Tampines EC is really overpriced. But because of that, because of having an EC so under or overpriced, Treasure is actually considered an underpriced project. So a lot of people buy assets for investment. They always say, I want to buy something undervalued, underpriced. Treasure is the one. It has very, very limited downsides, being that it's so cheap and it's and so valuable, and it's very in a very good location. Subsequently, in the future, when the ECs are all fully launched, they will create a new bottom line for the property markets in the future. In the future, all the ECs will be launched probably around 1,100 per square feet on average. That means if a fully private condo with no restrictions, no government restrictions, no MOP problem, it has to sell much higher than what the EC is charging. Otherwise, it makes no sense for a buyer to buy an EC. So I think that's just common sense and logic. And not only that, we just do a comparison to the resale market in Tampines itself. So the comparison to the resale market, I will use My Manhattan, which is beside Simei MRT, as a comparison. I will say I will use this as the best comparison because other than that, there are not really too many condos that recently TOP. Just at My Manhattan itself, the prices have already hit 1,518 per square feet for a 441 square feet unit. So for Treasures, our units were actually going for about 1,003, maybe 1,004 for highest floor. So we do have a lot of buffer for units. And remember, this is actually a first floor unit. So, I mean a low floor unit, sorry. So this is actually a new benchmark. And I would say since that the benchmark has already been set, it is actually comfortable. I'm actually confident and comfortable that Treasure, being a much larger project, as you can see, a much more fully facilitated project, to actually command a better price, because tenants will definitely like to stay in a full facilities near to amenities project. Probably the only advantage My Manhattan had was probably is directly beside MRT. Otherwise, actually Treasure has all the upper hand versus My Manhattan. Then if you're buying for investment, I think the most important thing is it easy to rent and how much can I rent? So the data is actually selected for the past couple of months, for the past year and month. As you can see, we have a total of 3,500 transactions in District 18, which is where Treasures is. So 3,538 records is actually very healthy for a town of Tampines size. And the transaction rates are all actually very comfortable. We're expecting about 3.2 to 3.4% returns of investment, which is actually very healthy for the small amount of premium that you're paying for a unit over here. So all in all, I would say Treasure is really the most value buy in Tampines itself for either an investor or even for own stay. For own stay, basically, you really can't find a large size condo at such an affordable price at new launch right now. It's very difficult to find such sizes at new launch. There is a testament for Treasures, which is sold more than 50% in less than a year. And not only that, during CB is continuously selling. It's sold 80 to over almost 90 units in just this couple of months. So every month is actually moving and buyers are actually coming. Not only that, you're buying a project that's from a renowned developer, a Singaporean developer. So this developer knows what Singaporeans want and knows what Singaporeans needs. And Tampines Town itself has a very, very strong track record for being a mature and comfortable and stable town where the prices are all very good and there's not much major fluctuations. Not only that, there is a very strong rentability thanks to our commercial and industrial hubs just surrounding Tampines itself. You do not need to go too far. You do not need to wish that CBD overflow just to come to Tampines. Last but not least, Treasure is the cheapest condo that you probably can find right now in new launch. So at such a low entry price, with the EC backing you up as the base, it definitely has a very strong easy exit strategy for future. So versus EC, they probably could make the same amount of profits in 8 years because of MOP. Whereas for Treasure, after TOP, you can actually proceed to sell your property because there is no longer any more SSD. So last but not least, what does it mean to own Treasures at Tampines? Firstly, this is the most competitively priced condo. So you are definitely entering at the lowest point possible for Treasures. It has very strong potential for capital appreciation. And hopefully, let's just say if the other condos increase in price, Treasures will not be far behind. There's a deep tenant pool and a high ROI. As an investor, I would say first is the investment, the rental returns, but more importantly is the rentability. Having a strong tenant pool and having your unit not empty is actually more important than how much you rent for. Just 1 month of unit being empty, you're actually losing $100 to $200 a month. So definitely it's not worth it. And Tampines Town itself will continuously develop thanks to it being in a strategic location just outside Changi. And being a homestay, let's just say if you're buying for homestay at Treasures at Tampines, it is actually also the most conveniently located condo thanks to it being just beside one of the MRTs and also the round market itself. So if you're a lazy person like myself, I don't actually travel too much out of my home. I would love to be in Treasure because I'll just head down, go to the market and have everything at my doorstep. I hope that short presentation can perk your interest in Treasures. I would like to just share a little promotion with you regarding this circuit breaker period. So like all other projects, we are actually giving a small little promotion for Treasure. We do have a special discount for all our bedrooms from 1 bedroom to 5 bedroom. The price or the discount ranges from $4,000 to $10,000 in $2,000 increments. And this amount will be deducted off the purchase price. So using the smallest 2 bedroom as a gauge, it's actually priced at $852. If you deduct at $4,000, it's actually just below $850,000. And that is my last unit left below $850,000. So don't miss out a project that is so valuable and moving so fast. If you miss out the 2 bedroom units, the 2 bedroom premiums are all priced around $890 onwards. So Treasures is one of the last few condos that you can actually purchase below the 900,000 threshold. So don't miss out on Treasures. We do have a limited unit left and we are expecting price to increase on 1st of July. So this is another thing I got to emphasize. Because we are selling so well, the developer is actually very confident in the project. And thanks to the EC launching, we are definitely have to position ourselves slightly higher than the EC. So don't miss out. We still have some time, but give a ring, give a buzz to your Orange Tea agents and find out more. I can only share so little with you in this 45 minutes to an hour session, but I'm sure the agents will be able to share more details with you all. So with that, I've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you everybody for your attention. I will hand back to Raymond. Raymond, please.
Thank you, Dennis, for the detailed sharing. We hope that all of you have gained some knowledge, not only about Treasure at Tampines, but the overall market as a whole. We actually do have some questions that are being asked in the chat room. So perhaps, Dennis, maybe we could just run through a few of them. There is a question. There are many units in Treasure at Tampines. will there be an issue on the facilities usage for future residents?
Raymond, that's a very interesting and common question. I would say any of my buyers who came in, they always ask this question. But I would say there's not much room for concern. There's many ways to look at it. First and foremost, we must remember that Treasure is a 11 football field sized project, and there's only 4 football fields worth of buildings, which means there's ample space for people to mingle around, people to share the facilities. And when we talk about crampedness, we talk about many units, density also comes into play. So actually we are not the densest project in Singapore. We do have a lot of open space as compared to other projects. Maybe they have less units, but they're in a much smaller land area. Secondly, another way to look at it is an investor's point of view. From an investor point of view, having many transactional records in the project, in the condo itself, actually brings about a lively transaction data. And that in itself will actually help to boost the prices. So you have a lot of transactions, buying and selling. Generally, when your neighbors downstairs sell at a profit, higher profit, a higher floor will generally benefit from that because you're definitely not going to sell lower than your neighbor. Am I right? So that is another way to look at it in an investor's point of view. Last but not least, don't worry about tenants because of this strong location near to MRT. The condos that will be worried will be the condos that are in the outskirts of Tampines itself. Because as a tenant, if there's a brand new condo launch that is more convenient, nearer to the MRT and bigger, would you move to the condo? I think you got to ask yourself that. And most of the time, the tenants will actually do that. They have a lot of competition. So they can say to their current landlords, sorry, I'm going to move to Treasure because it's bigger, it's nicer, and it's more convenient. So I would say 2,203 units it may sound very daunting. We are definitely one of the biggest and mega sites in Singapore. But thanks to the land, we do not have this issue of congestion.
All right, thank you, Dennis, for sharing that. There is another question on the TOP date. Is it going to be affected due to the COVID-19 situation?
Yes, Raymond. Unfortunately, this is a reality that we cannot avoid. The TOP date I quoted you is Q4 of, or rather December of 2024. It is actually moved back from December of 2023. That was the original date. However, this is actually just a little bit of a fail-safe, or rather kiasunas lah, Singaporean style of the developer pushing a little bit back. But this is happening throughout the country itself. All projects being launched at this time, no matter whether it's nearing TOP or not, is all affected by COVID-19. Nobody is not affected. So although I'm quoting Q4 of 2024, December 2024, based on the current progress, we are actually, I'm quite confident that we will be slightly earlier than what I'm quoting. And that's not too far away from my original date of December 2023. So definitely there'll be some effect, but don't worry, we will rush the project because the developer, the Xinglian, is actually building their own projects. They have a priority to us.
Right, and it also shows the confidence of the developer and also the confidence to show to all our buyers out there as well. Yeah. So we're going to take in a last question. What is the current payment stage for Treasure at Tampines right now?
Okay, thanks for asking, Raymond. So we are currently we actually built for foundation in the early part of this year. So due to COVID-19 also, we haven't called for any other payment. So, but you can see if you go to the site itself that actually we are already more or less beyond the foundation period or foundation already. So we are actually ahead of schedule, but definitely right now for billing purposes, we are only at foundation.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Dennis. I think that kinds of sums up all the questions being asked. And this brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you once again, Dennis, for sharing in great detail on why you should consider Treasure at Tampines. And I would like to also thank you all, to all the listeners for tuning in. We hope that you have gained some key takeaways from today's session. As there's too much to cover, we encourage you to link up with your Orange Tea and Thai agent for a one-to-one consultation on all the details for purchasing the unit that you prefer. So with that, I will end this webinar. Stay safe and take care, everyone.